Friday. We're going to have we're going to review today, but then you'll have some additional time to review should you need that additional time. Make sense? All right, you can put your name on your paper if you haven't already. And you should be on the side that looks like this. There are two sides. You should be on the side that has your name, a place for your name. The opposite side looks like this. You're going to wait just a little bit for that one. Identify the name of the molecule, the chemical formula, and the model of the molecule. Good news for you, you don't have to memorize these. I'm going to give you the name of the molecule, and I'm going to give you the chemical formula. But you have to decide which goes where. And then you're going to take the chemical formula and use that to help draw a model of a molecule. It's exactly what we did in the back, and we're going to do 6 of them today to help you feel more comfortable. So, ask your questions now. This is the time where we want to get you comfortable. Make sense? Let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. Write down, please, in the name of the molecule. So if you're on your sheet, it's in the upper left-hand corner of the box. You're going to write the name of the molecule, which is methane. And the chemical formula, which will go in the next box. By the way, just to be clear, the name of the molecule will go right here in the first upper left-hand box. You can write the chemical formula in the middle of the top of your sheet, and it's CH3. It's really important that you make sure the case matches exactly. In other words, if the letters are uppercase, yours need to be uppercase. If your number is a subscript like this one and it's below the letters, that's the way yours should appear too. Carson.
Does it matter if the 3 is on the top and the bottom?
That is a really good question. It does matter. So your subscript should always be lower than the letters that are it's beside. Good question. Great.
What does it mean when the 3 is like above? Does it mean like something?
Yeah, that means that's a superscript. You won't see that in a chemical formula, but the superscript means to the power of. Remember that?
Like math?
Like it's a math. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Now that we have this, let's do a brief review. Show me with your fingers how many carbon molecules are there. Very good. Since there's no subscript, there's only one carbon molecule. How many hydrogen molecules are I'm saying molecules. I'm sorry. I should have said atoms. How many carbon atoms are there? There's one carbon atom. How many hydrogen atoms are there? There are 3 hydrogen atoms. Very good. So with that information, I'd like you to draw the model. Now, you may not know how it's configured. I'm probably not going to grade you on the configuration. What I'm going to be looking for is, do you have 1 carbon? And do you have 3 hydrogens? Hopefully as we do these, you'll pick up on the pattern of how they go together. I'll make some comments on that. Paisley.
If you were to put like subscript, if there were more than 1 carbon, where would you put that?
Yeah, great question. If there were more than 1 carbon, hold that question because we'll see some as we go along. Hopefully that'll help. All right, so take about 30 seconds, and I'd like you to draw it on your paper in the box at the top on the far right. So try to draw it right now. Sure, make sure it's capitalized. If you want both your letters to be capitalized. Or you want it to match exactly. Yes. I'll check it with you in just a minute. Okay, I'll check it in just a minute. I'm just checking the letters to make sure they're right. You want to draw circles, okay? That's your little atoms. Like your birthday. Good job. Good. And label your circles. Label your circles like put your C and your H's in there. Okay. Okay, so how many C's are you going to have? 1, because each one's okay. And then so you should have 1 circle with a C in it. And how many circles with H's in it? Let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Don't worry if you don't have it drawn. This is our first one. And the point of this is to help you feel more comfortable. In the box, hopefully you have 1 carbon circle with a C inside of it like this. So that would be the start. Now here's the pattern I want you to see. If you have a letter, or I should say an element, an atom of that element there's only 1 of, usually it goes in the center. We have 3 hydrogen, they're all going to go around the outside. If you just had 3 hydrogen and 1 carbon and they weren't in that configuration, I'd give you the points. So don't stress. But in the future, if you have 1 that has only 1 of that thing, put it in the middle and put the others around. Now when you have 2 that only have 1, it's a little bit different, but I'll be gracious with that. Great.
Can you like draw lines and then put the hydrogen?
Sure, you could connect. How about for our purposes for the future, just draw the circles where they're touching the other circle. All right, let's do another one. So we're going to go down to the next row. The name of the molecule is boric acid. not to be confused with boric acid. This is not boric acid, it's exciting. The chemical formula is HbO3. That's not a place where you watch TV. It's a chemical formula. You can write that down, and I'll ask you a question. Good job staying focused, by the way. I really appreciate that. You guys are doing a great job. How many hydrogen, show me with your fingers, are there? How many hydrogen atoms are there? Just one, right? Just one because it has no subscript. How many boron atoms are there? Just one, because there's no subscript after it. How many oxygen atoms are there? 3. And the reason why, and this is really important, and I'm glad we're doing this because that's why we're practicing. You see how the 3 comes after the oxygen? Subscript 3 comes after the oxygen? It describes the element that it comes after. So since it's after the O, we're saying we have 3 O's. So now I want you to take 30 seconds, and I'd like you to draw. Remember, I'm just looking for the number. Do you have the right elements and the correct number of each in circles labeled? And then hopefully you remember that little tip about if there's an element that there's just one of, it should be in the center. Now here you have 2 of them, so just choose one. Choose one of them and put it in the center and put the rest of the things around it. So let's take about 20 seconds and we'll draw that. Okay, you got the right numbers, good. You got that in the center, so put your O's around it. When you draw it, remember this is an element, so the atoms are bonding together. So in your drawing, you should have the right number, and every one of the atoms should be connected somehow, because they're going to bond to form a molecule. The molecule, how many atoms does a molecule have? Show me with your fingers if you're done. At least 2, right? It could have any more than that, but at least 2. Great. Okay, here we go. I'll show you how you did. This one starts with the hydrogen. And in my opinion, the hydrogen could be in the middle. I would accept that too. But boron happens to be in the middle here. And notice how hydrogen, there's just one, and boron, there's just one, so you could probably swap those out. Boron makes more sense if you want a technical explanation, because hydrogen has fewer electrons than does boron, and bonds usually happen because atoms are sharing electrons. But that's deeper than you probably want to know. And then the oxygens are going to go around the outside connected. If your circles are different sizes, are you going to lose points for that? No, and I'll show you what the actual quiz will be like so you know what to expect. Paisley.
So I put hydrogen and boron together and then just oxygen around them. Like I did this.
Let me see. I would give you the points. I'd probably just make one of them big and the other ones around it. But I'd totally give you the points for that. I like what you're thinking. Okay, let's do another one. This one, the name of the molecule is hydrogen sulfide. You guys are doing a good job staying focused, thank you. The chemical formula is 2H2S. Now something changed here. Can anybody tell me what's different? Isabel, thanks for raising your hand. What can you see that's different?
There's a 2 in front of the H instead of the S.
Great observation. So, and this 2, what's different about it, Victor?
Oh, there's a 2 under the H. The subscript.
No, so 1 is a subscript because it's under, it's written under. Good, you on here?
The difference from others is that it's in the middle.
Okay, so this one is in the middle. Although sometimes it'll come after, it just depends. Enzo, you want to add to it?
The iPad fell over.
Oh, thank you so much. That's actually really helpful. Because it's not going to record much if it's fallen. So thank you for that, because I was oblivious. Okay, yeah. This is called a, let's say it after I say it, you say it with me. Coefficient. Ready?
Coefficient.
Coefficient tells how many molecules there are. Okay, so let me pause for a second. When you do this one, look at me if you're not looking right now. If I were you, I'd forget about the big number in front, the coefficient, and I would just make a molecule of H2S. Once I've made it, I'd go back and I'd look at that number in the front and see, okay, how many more of those do I need to make? And that'll make it really easy for you. So take 30 seconds, do your best drawing of H2S. But let me back up for a second. How many H's? Show me with your fingers. 2 H's. How many S's? Just 1. So with that information, draw an H2S and then look at the front and see how many of them you need to make. Ah, the light bulbs are going off. Great. Both don't go off at the same time. It takes a little time. Alright, we'll talk in the future. I have another idea for what I'll do next time.
I can hold it.
It sounds like you're going to be done in about 10 seconds. So take like 10, 15 more seconds to wrap up and then we'll cut. So there'd never be a large one. Brody asked a really good question. He said, Mr. Miller, what would happen if coefficient came after the S? Like a large one? You will never see a large one at the end. It'll always be at the beginning. But only the subscripts will come after the letters. So thanks for that great question. Chichike? Alright, let me do this first, and then once we're on the next one, I can check. Okay, alright. Here's what one of them would look like. There's one S in the middle. Thanks for looking up here at the screen. And there are two hydrogens around the outside. Now, the next thing you should see is that, wait, we're done, right? This is good. Thumbs up if we're good. Give me a thumbs up. Don't say anything, just shoot me a thumb. Thumbs up if it's good, thumbs down if it's bad. So part of this is good, but are we done? No. What do we need to do, Brady?
You need to put another one.
We need to double it. So that would be, because there's a 2 at the front, once we made the H2S, then we go back and say, oh, I need 2 of those. So ignore it initially. Once you make it, go back and see how many you need to make. Alright, flip your paper over, please. And on the back side, what you're going to see is at the top, this is a lot like the quiz. You'll notice that you have 3 pairs. One is at the top, the chemical formula, and below, the name of the molecule. So you have HNO3, for example, and nitric acid. That's one, and you can just go ahead and write those in. And then you'll do the same thing for the second and the third. So you can do all 3 together right now, or at the same time right now. If you'd like to do it independently, that's fine. If you want to talk to somebody nearby and work together, that is fine as well. Just please use a whisper voice. And then after 2 minutes, I'll check it with you. Chichike, if you want to slide quietly beside somebody, or Brady will come beside you, that's fine too. So about 2 minutes. Lots of good ideas come on. Lots of good thinking. You're moving into the chemical. Great.
We're lucky.
Great. So you already got that. Say it again. Oh, we've heard phosphine before. That's what's called phosphine. Yeah, that's yeah. So you're probably talking about the pH scale, whether it's acidic or basic. They call that alkaline.
Where I saw it. Then he gave it to me. Wait, that's a laser?
That's cool. I like those. They're really handy. Alright, just a heads up, time-wise, we'll have let's do about a minute more, and then we'll check. I'm gonna check with you. So if you want to just read for a second? All right, let's go ahead and we will check your work. For all three. We're gonna check your work for all three. Thanks for stopping since I'm talking. Thank you for being respectful.
Yeah.
If you don't have it all done right now, you can put them down as we go. And actually, don't stress. I actually loaded the answers up on Schoology, so if you miss it for some reason, I can show you, but don't look now. I'll show you where it is in a minute. All right, nitric acid should be your name, the name of the molecule for the first one. HNO3 is the chemical formula. Your model should look something like this. Now, if you put the H in the middle, that's, as long as one of them is in the middle and the other one's on the outside, that's fine. Really, the most important thing is do you have 3 O's, 1 H, and 1 N. If you have those and they're all connected somehow, I give you the point. Questions about that? Yes.
Could it have the H been in like the big one?
Could the H have been in the big one? Sure. Yeah. You could change those out. You could swap them. That would be fine.
That's what I did.
Let's go to the next one. The next one is dichloride monoxide.
Why?
So that should be on the left side in the name of the molecule. Let me finish. I'll come right back to you. Remember, we're not talking. If you want to stay beside each other, there's no exceptions for that, just so we can all concentrate. Then we have the chemical formula, 2CO. Now, I want to point something out with this, because this is the only one we've seen like this so far. This Cl is one element. Look at the board over here. Can everybody see the A? Remember, that's the chemical symbol, or the element symbol for gold. I'm going to show you something else that hopefully is a help to you really quick. Question, Max? The A and the U, so it's from a Latin word, which is another language that the Romans used. The Romans conquered a lot of the world, so we have much of their language in ours. But that was from their word for gold, so like I think it's Aurelius or something like that. So we just use a lot of medical terminology comes from Latin or from Greek, which are languages that preceded ours. So we still use some of their languages. So that's why it's on the periodic table. All right. If you just be careful if you see a second letter and it's lowercase beside. Now look at this one again. See how I have an uppercase A and a lowercase U? Think of that as one. Lowercase letters are not independent elements. They go with the one that comes before it. When you draw this, hopefully, I'm shaking my head at Brady because he's doing something he shouldn't. Hopefully when you make this, you ignored the coefficient first, and you made Cl2 and O, and then you did it twice. So hopefully that's something like that. Does that make sense? This is Cl2, there are 2 Cl's, and there's an O, and there's only one of those. It's in the middle, so that's our molecule, but then it was 2 of those, because it's 2 Cl2O. Please ask your questions. This is a great time to ask your questions, Angelo. Yeah, please overlap them, because they'll be bound together, so you're going to do that. And when you see, let me show you really quick what the test will, hopefully it's up here. You know what? I'm going to do it at the end. I'm going to show you what the test will look like at the end. But let's do the last one really quick, okay? I don't want to mess this up. Last one is phosphine, which is pH 3, okay? How many P's should you have? Show me with your fingers, please. How many P's? Just one. How many H's? Show me with your fingers. 3 H's. So it should look like this. That one's fairly simple, right? Once you're done with it. You see it's sorry, it's standing in your way. pH 3. Ask questions.
I thought it was C2 and L.
Are you talking about this one?
Yes, I thought it was C1 and then.
Okay, great question. Please listen. This is going to hopefully help you clarify. Okay, Brady, you need to sit at the back table. Yes, I've seen what they're talking about, and I've been watching it. It will be written down as well. You know what we're talking about. Knock it off. Go back there.
Wait, that was an L.
And I'll explain what she just said, because it was a really good point. And I'm going to clarify to help it make more sense too. So here, the C and the L, this is confusing because it looks like an I, right? When you actually do your assessment, you won't have that confusion. And I'll show you why. A, the font will be different. And B, you'll see these down below. See how the C and the L are there together? You will see these before you make it, because you're going to drag them. So it shouldn't be as confusing. And again, I'll show you that in a minute, because that's confusing. Okay, in fact, I'll show you that right now. Let me just clear my display for you. I'll go to the other side. So here's what your test is going to look like. Hopefully it's not too confusing. But you can see, I'll give you the molecule name, I'll give you the chemical formula, and then You can tell what it is because we'll have the different elements down here to just drag out. So that'll be easy to see what we're talking about. And hopefully the font that I'll use won't be confusing. Okay? Here's about.
We're doing it on our iPad.
This will be on your iPad. And what you'll do is you'll take it and you'll just drag it up to where it needs to go. Yeah, see the boxes? These are the boxes. So you'll have, this is a slide, and you'll have 3 of these slides where you drag it around. So you write the molecule name like we just did. You could write it, you could type it. For the chemical formula, you'll write it, and then for the molecules, you'll put the picture of it over here, and you'll just drag them up what you need. And there, if you drag one, there's more underneath. And what you are probably going to want to do is click on it and then click the arrow key to have it move. When you do the chemical formula, it's really important that you have the subscript lower down, so you probably want a couple of text boxes.
So
Victor and then Carson.
So you're just gonna drag me and just say.
That's right, you'll drag them up. And I'll show you more at the time. Carson, did you have a question?
I was gonna ask what the
Okay, all right. Chichike and then Enzo. We'll do it on an iPad. And then you can submit it to me. Yeah.
How many are under each other?
Oh, there's plenty. Probably like 10 there. You only need 2 or 3. All right. Thank you for working on that. Just give me an overview about how you're feeling in general. From 0, and you can just do it here. I just want to see what you think. 0 meaning I'm really so confused. Or 5, I feel super comfortable. You could be anywhere in between. Okay, 2 things. 1, is there a question that I can answer for you right now? That's my first thing. Do you have a question that I can answer for you right now? Okay, if you think of one, let me know. Let me show you resources that can help you practice. The first one is that when you go to Schoology, in the folder, Unit 1, Part 2, if you scroll to the bottom, you have all the answers to what we just did today. You can open this up, and you can go through all the answers, and it'll show you everything we just did today. So you don't have to worry about your copy being the same. That's one thing. The other thing I want you to see is that the Build a Molecule link is still there. So I encourage you to go to Build a Molecule on your iPad, and go to the playground. And then what I would do, if I were you, is I would open this up, and I'd say, okay, the first one is methane. Let me build a methane. And methane is CH3. Okay, CH3. And it should tell you it's methane.
I think you put it wrong. Maybe it's in the wrong order.
Remember, our expectation for respectful is there's only one person talking at a time. Let's raise your hand. Now your comments are on task, so I really appreciate that. But just raise your hand for it. Typically it will tell you that it's methane, but I'm not going to spend forever looking at it right now. Okay, so I would go through and I just practice those. I think that'd be a great way for you to get ready for the quiz. It is currently 11:06. That means we have about 15 minutes, maybe more like 13 minutes for writing. Wait for that iPad, we'll do that in just a minute. Don't open your iPad quite yet. I'm still talking to you, okay? So hold out. I know you want to get started. I understand that. Thank you for waiting. In a minute, when I'm done, Devati and Angelo, can you guys collect your papers? Don't start quite yet. You have the rest of the time to work on prayer, on your notes, and on because let's. I'll be around to help you. If you're done with everything, I would go to the playground and I'd practice what we just did. And then when you're done with that, you can always work on Excel, assignments for the classes, you can read, and that should take us to the end of the period. Please work without talking, and if you have a question, raise your hand, I'd be happy to answer it. Thank you.